Hey there, YouTube. It's me, the Amazing Atheist, and today we're going to be answering all the text questions. We have only 5 video questions selected so far. And there's some other video questions, some other video responses, but only 5 were good enough. So I'm looking for at least another 5. So if you're someone who has a question that's not being answered in this video, you stand a pretty good chance of getting in if you submit a fucking video question, because the competition is not very stiff for the video questions. Please Spit on My Face asks, what is your opinion on people being more worried about Miley Cyrus's antics instead of the shit going on with our country as of late? And that has 34 thumbs up. I really, legitimately do not understand the Miley Cyrus thing. I don't get it. She acted like a slut, which, I don't know if you've been paying attention to pop music for the last 20,000 years, but that's kind of been what women pop stars have done this entire time. They've acted really fucking slutty. And I don't see why it's different when Miley Cyrus does it. Is it because she used to be Hannah Montana? Is it because she had such a booty-centric style of dancing when she had no booty at all to speak of? What is the deal? Like, why does this stand out in particular as like, oh no, this went too far? I don't get it. It didn't go any further than anyone else. Why is it strange? I think we need to cancel the VMAs. I don't think there needs to be a Video Music Awards anymore. Because first of all, MTV isn't even fucking about music anymore. And even if it were, it would be about shitty music like Miley Cyrus and Lady Gaga and Katy Perry and Nicki Minaj and somehow still Eminem. All the VMAs really do at this point is generate who gives a shit headlines. Like, remember when Kanye West did his thing? He got up there and he interrupted Taylor Swift, and it was portrayed to the nation as some sort of horrible tragedy that we all needed to be very upset about. Like, it was Taylor Swift's beautiful moment and he ruined it. Like, okay, first of all, it was just a fucking VMA. It wasn't like she was winning an Oscar or a fucking Grammy or an Emmy Award or something. It was just a fucking VMA. And who gives a shit about Taylor Swift's feelings? Every fucking record she's ever put out has been predicated upon hurting the feelings of her previous boyfriends. And at this point, it should be clear to everyone that the problem in her relationships is not the boys, but her. Otherwise, why would she have went through so many fucking relationships? Right? Because I think she's been in a relationship with everyone but me and Captain Hook at this point. Worn Wanderer asks, Dear TJ, I am a Christian and I love your videos. You provide me with many thought-provoking questions and help bring logic to this unreasonable world. Would you rather me not watch your videos because I'm a Christian, or do you not care? Also, do you think it's possible for religion and science to live together? I wholeheartedly believe in evolution and love learning about our final frontier. Do these beliefs contradict each other, or is it possible to find peace between fact and faith? Look, if you enjoy the content that's being posted on this channel, then this channel is for you. I would much rather people watch me and set disagreements with me aside than say, well, I like him, but I'm a Christian and he's an atheist, therefore I'm not going to listen to what he has to say. Like, why would I want that? And the fact that you're a Christian that embraces modern science to an extent, in as much as a Christian can, that's a positive thing, because people like you I view as allies in the fight against fundamentalists, at least, on certain fronts. Like when a creationist wants to put intelligent design in the classroom, I can count on you as an ally to say, hey, no, fuck that, I'm a Christian too, but I believe in evolution. And, you have to reconcile the science with the faith. You can't just say that faith supersedes science. It doesn't work that way. I'm glad that that's your position, because it gives me a stepping stone. It says that, it basically invalidates that person's argument to an extent, because they're saying, oh, well, we have to teach intelligent design because without that, Christianity falls apart. And then I can point to you and say, no, look at this guy right here. He's a Christian and he believes in evolution. And then they say, well, he's not a true Christian. And then it degenerates from there. But the point is, it gives me an inroad. I'm not going to let the fact that you're a Christian bother me, because I figure that if you're a Christian and you're watching me, then there's a good chance that maybe at some point in the future I'll change your mind. And I think that it's important that I share ideas with you that you don't necessarily agree with, because there's plenty of people on the internet that I follow who have ideas that I don't agree with, and sometimes those ideas make me mad, but I'm glad I was exposed to them. I'm glad I was exposed to a new point of view. I'm glad that I was able to see things from another perspective, even if it was one that didn't stick, even if it was one that my mind rejected for whatever reason. I'm glad that I came to a greater understanding of another person and what their position is and where they stand. Axel Dean asks, what do you think about the idea that human beings apparently being evolved to be polyamorous/polysexual? Do you think that monogamy is a social and/or religious construct? Most animals are not monogamous. And most human beings are not monogamous by nature. Yet, that is the arrangement that a lot of people have agreed to in modern society. Now, you might say, well, that's a horrible defiance of human nature. How disgusting to assume this unnatural modality of thought. But the fact is that human beings are very flexible up here. It may not always seem like it, especially when you're dealing with some closed-minded fucks, but if you just look at the way that the values have changed, watch a TV show from the 1950s and watch a TV show now, and they're night and fucking day. Not just in terms of production values, but in terms of the morals being preached, in terms of the issues being addressed, in terms of the cultural attitudes that you see prevalent. And that's because they came from different times, with different values, with different ways of seeing the world. And that's because there is tremendous plasticity in the human mind. You might say, well, we're not meant to be monogamous. Yeah, well, we're not meant to build skyscrapers either. We're not meant to fucking conduct symphonies. We're not meant to paint masterpieces, and yet we fucking do. Why? Because we have highly evolved intelligences. We have self-awareness. We have the ability for introspection, and those sorts of things lead us to be able to defy our nature. Or if that's not how you want to perceive it, they give us a higher nature, a more flexible nature, a nature that's malleable, that changes depending on circumstances and upbringing and opportunities. I think ultimately people should be free to decide for themselves what they want to do. Do you want to be monogamous? Do you want to be polyamorous? Do you want to be someone who doesn't enter into serious relationships? And just, maybe you just have casual lovers, friends with benefits, or just one-night stands, whatever. What do you want? What makes you comfortable? What is your desire? You don't have to feel pressured into doing what society says is right. You don't have to feel pressured into doing what other people say is right. You should decide for yourself. If you want to be monogamous, that's wonderful. If you don't want to be monogamous, that's also wonderful. Just don't lie about it. Just don't be dishonest. Just don't misrepresent yourself. I think that's the only thing that people should really have a problem with, is people who present themselves as one thing when they're really something else. Yosarian the Insane asks, the utilitarian approach to morality says that morality is defined by the most amount of happiness for the most amount of people, i.e. sacrificing the lives of 10,000 people to save the lives of 100,000 is always the right thing to do. Do you agree with this mentality? And if not, why not? I don't think there exists an arithmetic of morality. Like you say, oh, well, is it better to save one person or 10 people? And if all people were just equal, that would be an easy problem. But what if the 10 people are scumbag degenerates that no one really gives a fuck about? I mean, hey, we could say that's wrong to talk about people like that, but we all know that there's people that we just don't give a fuck about, okay? Let's be real. And the one person is someone who is a genius. They might be on the verge of a fucking cancer cure or a new scientific theory that changes the way we see the world forever. Well, is it still more moral to save the 10 over the 1 when it boils it down? I mean, it's kind of hard to understand in moral terms because morality is so complicated. Let's apply utilitarianism to something other than morality so we can kind of see its flaws a little bit more clearly. Would you rather have sex with 1 person or 10 people? Well, I mean, let's say that you don't know. I mean, like, what if the one partner is way more attractive? Or what if it's 10 people that are perfectly attractive, but the one person is the person that you truly fucking love? You fucking just desire this person with every fiber of your being. You would fucking take them over 100 people, over 1,000 people. You would take them if you knew that they were going to be the only fucking lover that you would ever have in your entire goddamn miserable, lonely fucking life. And that's why utilitarian ethics fails, because there's just too many fucking variables. It doesn't account for all of the fucking variables in place. I think mathematics can reveal many things about the nature of the universe, but I don't think that it can show us the right thing to do, especially when exactly identical situations happen exactly never. There's always new variables. Every human being has different experiences, different ideas about the world. Every human being experiences the world in slightly different ways, and no 2 scenarios that emerge are going to be exactly identical because the parties involved are not exactly identical. Therefore, there's never going to be some easy objective measure, no matter how appealing that idea is, that one day, we'll figure it out. We know now what is right and what is wrong. We know the optimal course of action. I just don't fucking see it. And that's not to say that it doesn't exist out there, that if we were these beings of infinite knowledge, we might not see that there actually is a correct way. Maybe there is. But we as human beings are never going to have the processing power at our disposal to figure that out. And we're never going to have the raw data we need to figure that out. Michael Vrazatoulis asks, would you agree with the intense polarity rising from the conflict between extreme theists and atheists has made the general public unaware of the many beliefs and theories of the God spectrum that are between the 2 extremes, such as deism, pandeism, pantheism, panentheism, etc.? It's sort of a false spectrum, though, isn't it, really? I mean, when it comes to God, there either is a God or there isn't. There either exists God or gods, or there doesn't. So, really, I mean, like, you can come up with these variations on the God hypothesis, like, okay, well, our God, we believe in God, but we believe he's an impersonal God. Or we believe in God, but we believe in many gods, not just one God. We think there's tons of gods all over the place. Or, we believe that the universe itself is God. But at the end of the day, you're still positing God. And there either is a God or there isn't a God. So I think that, the attempt to make it nuanced and say there's all these different little stages and you could believe it this way or that way, it really doesn't change the essential question, is there a God? There either is or there isn't. I say there isn't, and the reason I say there isn't, once again, I've explained it 1,000 times, but I'll explain it once more, is that there's no need to invoke God to explain the way the universe is. The natural laws of the universe are enough to account for the structure of the universe itself. And we've never seen any evidence of God other than a bunch of texts from antiquity, which, if you're going to rely on those, why not believe in Zeus? Why not believe in Odin? It doesn't make any sense to give special treatment to Yahweh. My Otaku Eric asks, will you ever consider bodybuilding? Because of my height and my build, people have always been like, you should be a bodybuilder. If you just fucking worked out, you'd be one intimidating motherfucker. And I've thought about that sometimes. Sometimes I'll stand in front of the mirror and I'll imagine, like, the fucking muscles, and I'll be like, yeah, I'd look pretty cool if I was big and muscular. But then I'm like, all right, well, let me do some sit-ups. And then I do like 10 sit-ups, and I'm like, fuck this. I am a lazy bastard. I am way too lazy to ever be a bodybuilder. I don't have that fucking stamina. I don't have that drive and determination and will for that sort of thing. Like, there's certain areas, don't get me wrong, I'm not lazy in every respect. There's certain areas where I fucking put my nose to the grindstone and do the fucking hard work and work to make my dreams come true and all that shit. But when it comes to exercise, no. I just don't have what it takes. I've looked inside myself and I've seen that the sort of thing that you need to accomplish that sort of body, it's just not there. I don't have the fucking fighting spirit to make it happen. Hop Dubstep asks, what do you think about getting a degree in philosophy? Obviously, for most people who get a degree in philosophy, it's not like a big career move. Like, it's not like, man, once you get this degree in philosophy, the money and job offers are just gonna be rolling in. But, I mean, at the same time, you know, it might be interesting. You might learn some interesting concepts. And I think philosophy, you know, despite what some have said, like Stephen Hawking basically says philosophy is dead. Lawrence Krauss, philosophy is dead. You have all these logical positivist types out there saying philosophy is dead. Well, it's not dead. I mean, it's not. I mean, science is a tool for making deductions about reality. Philosophy is a tool to organize your own thinking. And that's never going to go away. I mean, there's always going to be philosophy out there, whether it goes by the name of philosophy or not. So it's important, I think, to understand the history of it. It's important to understand all the different ideas that people have had. And it's important to really decide for yourself which ones have merit. But I don't think you need the degree. I really don't, because it's not like it's going to do you any good financially. All it's going to do is be a financial burden on you. So unless you are just willing to pay the money just to have the credential, I would say that you'd be a lot better off just buying a lot of philosophy books, reading them, going to philosophy forums on the internet, participating with those people, just, you know, engaging with other people who are into philosophy. I mean, if you don't understand the important philosophical works, just get like Philosophy for Dummies or Intros to Philosophy. There's tons of fucking books out there for every level of fucking reader. I mean, I would say if you're interested in philosophy, be self-taught, be an autodidact. Because chances are a philosophy degree is not going to do you any fucking good. It's just going to give you a fucking boulder of debt that you need to climb out of, and it's not going to give you the means to overcome that boulder, chances are. Hey guys, if you enjoy my videos, please consider being a patron on Patreon. Click the link below, check out the video on that page because it explains what Patreon is, the whole process. And there's also some cool like rewards and stuff that people can do, different packages. So check that out, and we will be in space.